You
You only
know,
play 4.
well, you only play 4, but the way Salah, remember the great Ulbrich quote that got the whole Jets universe like, what? When he said guys aren't going to be playing more than like 35 plays or snaps a
Yeah.
game. And everyone was like, how could you play Solomon Thomas the same amount of snaps as Carl Lawson and all this stuff?
Let's go down the list. Okay. So
Yeah.
like, as you say that, first I'm going to go on my list. John Franklin Myers, 30% of the snaps.
No,
Franklin Myers.
Salah cleared things
Tell-
up in his great diplomatic way. And, you know, the best players are going to be on the field, especially at the most important times of the game. But what he's saying, in essence, is everybody's going to be fresh. This is going to be a fresh team. This is a rotation. Run on, max speed, go. You're tired, off, next guy. Max speed,
Bam.
go, get off. Max speed, go, get off, right? That's the all gas, no brakes. So they've set it up. And let's face it, we've got, like you said, John Franklin Myers, who is.
Tell me about him, because remember, I didn't have any access to games. All I heard was what you told me over the phone.
Right. Yeah.
What's he like?
John Franklin Myers is a dual guy. He plays inside, outside. A lot of his best pass rushing comes at defensive tackle, but he's just an all. He's a dual defensive lineman. He can play against the guards inside. He can play against the tackles outside. He's got inside moves, power moves. He's got some speed moves. He contains people. He's really a great all-around defensive lineman. And we got lucky because we claimed him. Remember, he's a waiver wire claim from the Rams a few years ago. So
comparison to a guy maybe in the last 10, 15 years?
Willie McGinnis,
Okay.
you know, but he's actually bigger. He's bigger than Willie, you know,
Okay.
but you know, you could look at him like that. I think that Franklin Myers is really key to our team, because I'm not sure how they're going to open up the Ravens game, but I'm thinking that he'll open up a defensive tackle with Keenan Williams. He'll play a lot of defensive end in the early downs, and then on third downs, I think they'll move him inside also, and you'll see Jermaine and Jacob Martin, you know, pass rushing on the edge.
The depth charts having John Franklin Myers, Solomon Thomas, Keenan Williams, and Carl Lawson as the starters. Does that sound?
Well, that's how they list it, but it's not really that important because it's going to be 10 guys. So you're going to see Keenan Williams is the inside monster, right? Keenan is the do everything. The great draft pick we got from Alabama. He can stop the run. He's our best run defender. He can wreak havoc from the inside, right? He's going to create pressure up the middle, and he's going to be one of our better run stuffers. Franklin Myers is going to hop in and out, but he is a starter. Carl Lawson's
a starter.
Not only a starter, I mean, the expectations are off the roof.
I mean, is this guy that good?
Yeah, he is that good. He is that good. He was the number one defensive end before 2021 on the free agent market. I mean, he was one of the top 5, I think, defensive ends in the league. So did he have the sack numbers? Not necessarily, but he had the pressures, he had the hurries. Carl Lawson.
Last year.
Yeah, I wonder why, Gwertz.
Did you get hurt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jets fans know this. We're not going to talk to you guys like you don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
Solomon Thomas. Why is he listed first round? I don't know. This probably isn't.
No. He is like I said, depth charts don't mean much for the defensive line right now. Solomon Thomas is probably, he's going to be the number one rotating guy on the defensive tackle spot. You know, he's a smaller defensive tackle, but think about it. He was drafted 3rd overall by San Francisco. I mean, this is a guy who never really reached his total potential, but he is just all hustle, all go. You know, he's one of those effort guys. Excuse me. So Tom.
Oh, we're just talking about the Jets, and then we'll be done. You need this?
We'll see a lot of Williams, Franklin Myers,
Hold on. Give me this.
Solomon Thomas, and Sheldon Rankins. Hopefully we don't see too much Nathan Shepard. but those will be the interior guys. And then on the outside, it's all about Carl Lawson on one side, and the other side is going to be a conglomerate of, it's just going to be like missile after missile after missile. Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Jacob Martin, and of course, Bryce Huff. So these guys are just going to be coming at you. Boom, 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 like strobe lights. Boom, 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 boom. Lawson, Huff, Clemens, Johnson, Huff, Lemon. Yeah.
Like the Patriots with their offensive line and shatters could just be crushed. I'm making the call the Jets sweep the Patriots this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
That's what a Boston fan I am.
Yeah, serious.
I am from Boston. Fair enough. That's Yaz on the wall. When I was a kid, I was a Red Sox fan, but I was never much of a Patriots fan. So I don't.
That's the dirt. That's the dirty little secret.
They never did it for me, even during their run. I was excited about them in 2001, 2002, and then it just became old news. It's like
you are converted. You are a convert, but I think that's what makes it special. That you actually left the Patriots to become a Jets fan is a pretty powerful statement. It's kind of like going from being a CEO to like delivering plants.
Or maybe being a teaching assistant at a school.
So I just think the defensive line, we're just going to be ready to roll. It's going to be a tornado. I would not be shocked if the Jets were top 5 in sacks this season in the NFL.
I should write these down. I'm going to write down these predictions.
I don't even know if that's a prop bet. Yeah, if that's a prop bet that's available.
I don't know if it's a prop bet, but I'm going to post these predictions on our website.
I think Carl Lawson, I mean, people don't understand. Lawson didn't even play last season. Do you understand if you have to double team a guy like Lawson, what can Michael Clemens or Jermaine Johnson or Bryce Huff do? People have forgotten about Bryce Huff, number 47. Bryce Huff is he is like, what's the guy from the Colts? Who is the Colts lineman? Gwertz. No. The great Colts defensive end. I don't know. It'll come to me.
Yeah, it's coming. I know what you're talking about. He's like that. I mean, it sounds like they've got 6 guys like that they're just stacked.
They did a great job with the defensive line. So I feel like that is something that Dwight Freeney, that's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of
Freeney. Okay.
Right. He reminds me of Dwight Freeney. So
he was short.
Yeah, they're not giant guys, but he's just such a great speed rusher.
I think why don't we keep talking and move up to the linebackers? I mean, we don't have to stop talking about the defensive line, but how do you see, let's say they get through, they make the team happens to get through, they make a pass and the running back penetrates for 3 yards. Who's going to come in and tag him?
Well, the big fear this year is we don't have the run stuffers, right? We lost Vadakuski, or however you say his name. So the linebackers become more important. Yeah. Okay. So we don't have the big beefy guy in the middle, like a Jordan Davis, like the Eagles drafted or something like that. But CJ Mosley had a pretty good season. I know he's gotten kind of mixed reviews from last year, but he had to cover everything last year. He was playing all 3 linebacker positions. Sometimes he was going into coverage too much. So he had to cover for a lot of guys. I think you're going to see the best Mosley the Jets have seen. Maybe he won't be what he was with the Ravens back in the day, but you're going to see the best Mosley we've seen. Quincy Williams, to me, I know he said it, but I really believe the guy has the talent to be a potential Pro Bowler. I think if he just doesn't over pursue and understands the zones, especially the short zone better, he's going to have a great season. And then we added Quan Alexander. And you've got Jamian Sherwood in his 2nd year healthy. So the Jets linebackers are primed. I mean, they're definitely improved. And they are going to have to make tackles in that like 3 to 5 yard range from the line of scrimmage, because we don't have the beefy guy to just kind of stop hold the line at the line of scrimmage this year. We are going to over pursue sometimes with the pass rush. Guys are going to find holes, and we're going to have the safeties and the linebackers just like torpedoes hitting.
I felt like we were spoiled every time they've signed a free agent. It was just like nice, and and it just keeps coming. And Quan, and maybe there'll be somebody else, but Quan, what a pickup! Right,
what
at
a
the
pickup!
end
What a
and
pickup!
the first guy they got, and right to the last, just excellent choices.
Great
Quan
choices.
Alexander's a good linebacker. I mean, CJ Mosley's good and Quan is good. And then the other guy is the guy you kept talking about last year all the time.
Oh, Quincy.
Dang, he needs to play more. Come on, get him out there.
Quincy Williams, where's Quincy? I was so enamored with his hits that
and every time he was on the field, he was involved.
He was involved. I mean, I overlooked some of his mistakes, like his over pursuing a little bit because of those hits. They're just momentum building hits.
Well, they're also momentum stoppers. That's what defense does.
Right.
The offense's momentum.
Yeah. So the linebackers are definitely improved. We have more experience. We have a nice mix with Quan.
Depth issues, maybe.
I think Quan and Jamie are pretty solid. I was impressed with Jamie Sherwood. He's Mosley's backup. He's got nice size now. He's a converted safety, but he looks like a linebacker now. It all depends on the coverage, right? Quan should be their best guy in coverage for a linebacker because that's one of his roles that he's done over the years, and in San Francisco, and New Orleans. Quincy should get better at that. I mean, he's 5'11". He's not a huge guy. He's 220. He's got the speed. And we'll see how Jamian does. Jamie and Mosley might both be more run guys, but we'll see how they do. But we also have Marcel Harris. So I don't know. I don't think it's a huge issue depth there.
Okay, let's go third level.
Yeah.
Let's move right into it. Secondary.
If our defensive line is the most improved, then the defensive backfield is the second most improved unit on this team.
Okay, most people would think the secondary was the most improved because of the outstanding pickups, Reed and Sauce Gardner, particularly.
Yeah, particularly. You can make that case. I mean, the fact that last year's starters are now the backups, yeah, you can make that case. So
that's good. That's good that they're the backups.
I think the thing that people worry about with the Jets the most is the middle of the field, because we're going to be sending everybody at that quarterback. There's going to be kind of a short middle open. Linebackers have to cover that short zone. And we noticed that teams pick up a lot of chunk yardage on the Jets last year and even in preseason.
Third down conversions.
A lot of third down conversions and a lot of 10 to 15 yard like chunk plays. And
because I remember it would be first down and you'd be getting stoked in second ground, and now third, they got him 3rd and 4, and you're like, come on, Jets, let's hold them, just like the video. Jets, hold them, Jets. And then it'd be quiet. What happened? What happened?
And then you'd hear an expletive. We have better talent.
Throwing your phone across the house.
Exactly.
Something. I mean, it was. And that happened over and over and over.
Over and over again.
So this year we need to make those stops, of course.
Well, but remember,
I wish they'd let Sauce Gardner move around a little bit.
We'll see. I agree with you.
His guy.
Yeah. I would like to see that too. We'll see how they mix man coverage with zone. It's this cover 3 thing. You got these 3 levels of zone.
You fake zone and then switch to man, or switch to zone.
Remember, teams don't show a very complex defense in preseason. They don't want teams to pick up on things. So I imagine the Jets will have a lot more disguises than they showed in the preseason. And remember, the pass rush makes a huge difference on coverage, especially in modern passing game football.
It's like the legs are connected to the torso. You can't have one without the other. It's everything is integrated on that defense.
Exactly.
And the linebackers are the hips. I guess they're. But I'm not too worried about the linebackers, even if it's a little light. And I'm not sure if CJ has another year in him. I'm surprised he played so well last year. But I'm very confident.
I don't know where you get the cynicism from. I really don't. I mean, CJ was.
Eventually that Baltimore Ravens team is expiring. Lewis is retired for years, and eventually CJ Mosley has to go. I mean, you can't have these guys are all war horses.
This is all up here. If you're just watching the game, CJ Mosley looks healthier and in better shape than he was when he first came here. He's far from done.
Right.
Far from done.
All right, you go with the facts. I'm not going to practices like you are.
No, all I'm saying
I'm
is
not in New York.
everyone's saying the Jets were like the worst defense in the league last year. I think that in lots of metrics they were 32nd.
We should try to see like what were their against the pass and against the rush.
Well,
I wonder if they were the worst team in the league.
I mean, they were 32nd overall. So against, let's see, Jets defense.
That's just awful.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
That's what you had to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were just literally the worst defense in the football.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Let's just go. If you don't want to say the worst, second worst. Yeah, I mean,
okay,
they're one of the worst defenses in the league last year. Okay. How many points did the Jets give up? Jesus, they gave up 504 points. Nobody gave up over 500 points except the Jets. I think that's
there's a lot of ways to judge. Points isn't the only thing.
They gave up almost 30 points a game last year. It's 29.6 points a game. Come on, man. That's bad. That's pretty bad, yeah. Okay, so let's just say that the Jets end up going from 32nd to 20th, the 20th best defense. Right there. That's worth a couple wins. Remember, we also had, I think, a total of 5 interceptions from our backfield last year. I mean, come on. I want Sauce Gardner alone to have 5 interceptions.
Yeah, in the first 5 games.
Yeah, in the first.
Now, yeah. So we'll see how they do their defensive schemes. And you make a good point. They're not going to show anything in preseason. That's very important to keep that under wraps. But we'll start seeing it against the Ravens. And,
listen, I think the Ravens they don't have the greatest receivers. They have that guy Bateman. Their second and third receivers are not that great. Their number one running back is Gus Edwards. He's out for the first 4 weeks. J.K. Dobbins, their other running back, is coming off an ACL tear.
Yeah,
Lamar,
their tight end.
Their tight end, great tight end. Their offensive line isn't even that great. They have a good left tackle.
We could just crush them. We might just smash them.
I mean, it's a rookie center. One of their guards is a throwaway from the Giant, Zeitler. I don't know, man. I'm just saying their defense looks really good. But offensively, Lamar's going to have to run for like 100-something yards against the Jets. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's limping by the end of the game. Jordan Whitehead and Quincy Williams are going to be I Spy. Watch those two guys, right?
Quick.
Well, they are ferocious run tacklers, right? So Quincy Williams, and they have speed. So Quincy from the linebacker position and Jordan Whitehead, they are going to be I Spy on Lamar. I mean, the whole team will be, but those guys in particular. So I don't think the Ravens offense is going to be very successful against the Jets in week 1.
I mean, it's a very important game for the Jets to get off on the right foot and to start getting wins, to start with the winning and maybe keep a winning percentage all year long. That's what could happen. And it's momentum, everyone's excited, but there's they've got this thing on their back, and that was a 4-13 season or whatever it was last year. So yeah, that has to be removed, and you remove it by beating the Ravens, and then maybe going 3-1 against the AFC North.
Well, that would be incredible. I really do believe we're gonna. I believe being at home. I believe that the Ravens' offense being beat up and not that great in my eyes, and the Jets, Joe Flacco probably having the revenge game thing. We have such a good set of wide receivers and tight ends now. I just think the Jets are really going to pull this upset off. Win week 1, no Deshaun Watson in week 2. We beat Cleveland. Cincinnati, okay, we lose that one, let's say. And then Pittsburgh, we got to be careful. That's a trap game. It's in Pittsburgh. If Pickett starts, I don't think he will, but he's been looking pretty good. But I do think we should win that game against Pittsburgh, or we definitely could. So 3-1 is definitely possible. 2-2 is more likely. I really would be shocked if we're only 1-3 after 4 weeks. I would be shocked.
Okay. But it starts with the win against
Baltimore,
and then a win
starts.
against Cleveland. So that's almost given.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't assume anything in the NFL, but all right. But let's step away from forecasting wins. I want to see more. We're going to talk about the Ravens more when we do our preview game, our game win preview episode. That'll be, next coming up soon. I'm very excited. What is
very
it like?
Excited.
The date, it's September 5th already. It's like 6 days a week. It's less than a week away.
Unbelievable. It's here, man.
I need to make sure I can watch that game somewhere. I mean,
yeah,
not easy to find a Jets game in Boston.
Yeah, this is really kind of ridiculous.
Mostly not because it's a New York team. It's because they just don't have any. No one gives them any respect.
Well,
so at a sports bar, the TV with the Jets game is going to be the small one above the bathroom.
We'll get into the problems with the NFL football packages. It's just really not right for Jet fans who live in other states. But I just want to add that hopefully some of the bigger questions on defense are going to be the free safety LaMarcus Joyner. How does he play? The middle of the field, like I talked about. So how do we stop the run? Because if we're pursuing and they running up the middle there, how do our linebackers